So if you're in the police recruitment process or you're a serving officer and you're looking to get promoted, how are you going to deal with forward-facing questions? These are the sort of questions that ask you, how will you as a constable build up trust with your fellow officers, enable trust with members of the community? Or how as a sergeant are you going to build up a culture where standards are really important, or building up a performance culture? So forward-facing questions can be really tricky. If you Google how to answer a forward-facing question, you're probably going to get some of my videos. And here's another one for you, one that has got some additional ideas in it that are really going to help you in how you formulate your approach to a forward-facing question. So for those of you who haven't watched any of these videos before, or listened to one of my podcasts, it's going on a podcast, this one today as well. I'm Brendan from Bluelight, and over the past 28 years, I've been helping people just like you to succeed in police promotion boards, specialist interviews, and in the police recruitment process. I joined the police 38 years ago. Can you believe that? I joined in 1985. Wow. How old am I? Don't answer that question. Anyway, so what that's given me is a huge amount of experience in what works in promotion boards, specialist interviews, and over the past 12 years, really been focusing on supporting people in the recruitment process. So over 15,000 people now have succeeded in the recruitment process as a result of my support, whether it be through my one-to-ones, my webinars, seminars that I used to run, and my online courses. You can check the links below for all of those, including the services for serving police officers as well. Anyway, so back to the big question. How are you going to answer these forward-facing questions? Well, I used to have a completely different method until about 2 years ago. And this is the beauty, by the way, of running these webinars. The method I had worked, it wasn't a bad method, but I always felt it was a bit clunky. It had too many moving parts to it. And then in one of the webinars that I ran for serving officers, where we were actually looking at, is there a better way to answer forward-facing questions? We batted around some ideas based on Simon Sinek's golden circles, sort of circles about why certain businesses are successful and why certain individuals are successful. And when we took a look at those, it started dawning on me that actually we could use this as a model, as a structure to answer forward-facing questions. And since then, since that's sort of 2 years ago now, actually might be more than 2 years ago, this method has been honed by me, and this is the latest iteration I'm going to share with you. And it works incredibly well. The feedback I've had from my clients, especially promotion board clients, is it just completely nails it. Completely nails it and prevents you falling into some of the traps that so many of you fall into. And I'll describe just one of those traps in this video as well. Actually, I'll describe, see if we can describe a few more for you. Let's see how we get on. So anyway, forward-facing questions. Like I said, I'll remind you, these are sort of questions for a potential recruit. That will be things like, how as a new officer will you build up trust with fellow members of your team or with members of the community? Or how as a police officer in the future will you ensure the highest of standards in terms of ethics and values? So you could go off on all sorts of different tangents with that, couldn't you? For promotion board candidates, how in the future will you enable a performance culture? How in the future will you enable a culture where diversity, equality and inclusion is valued? How in the future as a supervisor or as a leader will you enable a performance culture, or a culture where the highest of standards are maintained? There's so many different forward-facing questions that can be asked, and you've got to be ready for them, because there's so many forces now that are starting to move away in the recruitment world from questions which start with, can you tell me about a time when, equally for the promotion process as well. Why? Because I think interviewers are just getting incredibly bored by sort of pre-rehearsed answers. I hear it all the time in the Facebook groups, and I'll check the links below, by the way, for the Facebook groups. These are free to access Facebook groups that help support you both as a potential recruit and as a serving officer. Anyway, I see so many people and hear so many people say things like, oh, well, I've got an answer for each competency. Well, that's not going to help you, and you're going to come across as staged and rehearsed. And this is why you fail, by the way. This is why you fail. I've had so much feedback, especially from serving police officers who've gone for promotion boards who've tried that sort of cliched way, that rehearsed way. I've got all my answers for the competency framework. I've got all my behaviours lined up. I've got an answer for each one of the values and competencies. You just come across as really, really plastic and vanilla, boring. And when they've come back with my guidance, they've completely nailed it. Honestly, completely nailed it. My clients get amazing feedback. Invariably, potential recruits are told they've passed there and then, which doesn't often happen. Or by the time they've got back to their car, they've got an email to say they've passed. The promotion board candidates are coming in the top quartile in the force, if not in the top 1 or 3 candidates. And they're getting feedback like that there and then from an ACC to a fast track inspector candidate. Your answers were just exceptional. Clearly you've passed. This is what we're after, isn't it? And this is how we do it. So the structure is really simplistic, but there's a lot of detail that needs to go into it, because you need to have an answer that's about 4 or 5 minutes long, or if you're a promotion candidate, it might need to be longer than that. And they want a lot of detail, and I'll come to that in a moment. So first of all, we're going to talk about why that thing is important. So why diversity, equality and inclusion is important, why standards are so important, why an ethical performance culture is important, why building up trust with your colleagues is important, why building up trust with the community is important. And we're going to use a hook to do that. We're going to get a hook in there. Now, what do I mean by a hook? It's a powerful statement. It's a powerful statement. And we look at these in my webinars in a great deal of detail. I've not got the time to go into the sort of detail now, but we come up with an incredible hook, one that's going to have the assessors, the interviewers, on the edge of their seats. That's where we want them. We want them on the edge of their seats thinking, wow, this is interesting. I've not heard this before. I've not heard this approach before. Because I can guarantee the only people who are delivering this approach are my clients and potentially you. Potentially you, should you become one of my clients in the future. And I hope you will, because I'll help you succeed. I know I can. I've been doing it for 28 years. It's just, I can do it not standing on my head, but it's hard, challenging work. But I know I can help you. So we're going to get a powerful hook in there. And this is how they'll remember you. They're going to remember you for this hook, and then you're going to expand on the hook as to why it's so important, why this thing is so important. The next stage, we move on from there and we talk about how are we going to do this thing? How are we going to do a culture of ethical performance? How are we going to do trust building? How are we going to do building up trust with minority groups in the community? Whatever the question might be, we're going to talk about how we're going to do it. Now, the big mistake, the number one big mistake that you're all making at the moment, and I guarantee you're going to make this, by the way, when someone new comes onto my webinars and we try out one of these questions, that's what we do. We actually learn by doing, we practice. You need to get your most awful answer out the way, don't you? You don't want to be saving up your worst answer because it's the one that you've come up with first and you've practiced it, but you don't really know what to do to improve it. You don't want to be delivering that on your interview board or your board, do you? You want to get it out of the way. Get your worst answer out of the way so we can debrief it and so you can improve, and you know what you need to do to improve. And that's why we apply the knowledge and understanding from the courses into webinars where we practice, and I feed back what works and what doesn't, and we debrief it. I've been doing this for years. I know exactly how to do awesome debriefs with people, so they leave it feeling good. You need to be feeling good about yourself when you leave that debrief, and everyone does, and I know how to do it. So anyway, going off at a tangent again, I often do this, but what so many of you do is you just deliver this shopping list. It's like, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do this, I'm going to have an open door policy, I'm going to be calm and professional with people, I'm going to be empathetic with people, I'm going to be interested in what they have to say, I'm going to have regular one-to-ones with them, I'm going to make sure everyone's PDRs are up to date, I'm going to reach out to partner organisations and ensure that we have a highly collaborative relationship. Shopping list, shopping list, shopping list. I guarantee that by the time you've got to the 10th one, and people do get to that 10th and beyond, I absolutely guarantee that the interviewer will be bored by the end of that and won't remember anything you've said. They won't remember anything you've said because you've just delivered this really vanilla, boring shopping list. and I know that this is what you do. I don't know where you get it from or where you feel as though you need to do this, but you're not there to bore the interviewer. You are there to have them on the edge of their seat, getting excited about you as a candidate, so that they're thinking, if you're a potential recruit, I'd be an idiot if I failed this person, or I can really see this person on my team. I hope I get them when they join. I hope I get them. Equally, if it's a superintendent interviewing a potential inspector, you need to have them thinking that, look, if I fail this person, I'll be known as the idiot who failed Sergeant Jones. I can't do that. This person's awesome. They've got incredible potential. Actually, I really want them on my division. I really want them on my borough. So, and that's the final test, by the way, for these interviews. You've got the marking guide and all the rest of it, but ultimately the final test, the final thing that's going through their heads, I know this because I used to be an interviewer, is, can I see this person on my team? Can I see this person on my team, either as a constable or as a sergeant or as an inspector? If the answer is no, I will find an ethical way to fail you. If the answer is yes, I will go completely over the top to try and help you through the process. And I know some people might be saying, oh, that's not fair, that's not ethical. But look, welcome to the world. This is the world you're in. If you can think of a better way of doing it, then please do let me know. College of Policing have tried, and it does become a really vanilla tick box formulaic process. And that's not what's going to get you through the final interview or your promotion board. Anyway, I'm digressing. So what we're going to do is we're going to deliver no more than 3 things, 2 things, or 1 big thing. Whatever it is, we're not going to go beyond 3. So 3 specific things, and you've got the opportunity now to go into some detail about how you're going to do those things. And there's a way to do this as well, and we look at these again on the webinars. We go into a great deal of depth about how you can introduce each one of those 3 things. You're sharing with them not just what you're going to do, but how you're going to do it. Does that make sense? I hope so. Let me know in the comments, by the way. Please do let me know in the comments. It encourages me. It lets me know that people are actually enjoying these videos and these podcasts. And please do like and subscribe as well. And you will get, by the magic of YouTube and Buzzsprout for podcasts, you'll get notified whenever I publish another one of these. I'm dropping like 2 or 3 of these every week. So the third part, now we're going to talk about what the result is going to be. Now, someone the other day talked about how, as a promotion candidate, everyone in the force is going to be this, everyone in the force is going to be the other, and it was like this lovely dream for the force, this lovely vision for the force. No. Just talk about your team. Talk about yourself if you're a recruit candidate. And what we're going to do here, this is the magic. We're going to loop the result that we want. We're going to loop it back to the hook. We're going to loop it back to the hook. So, and this works incredibly well, by the way. It works amazingly well. You will have the assessors on the edge of their seats because they're fascinated. They had the initial hook that got them thinking, and then you've delivered 3 things specifically about how you're going to address those 3, that hook, that problem, and you've explained why it's so important. And then we're going to loop it back. We're going to loop it back to the hook. And you're going to paint a vision for the future where that problem doesn't exist anymore or exists less. It's so powerful, folks. Honestly, this is the new model now for how to answer forward-facing questions. And it is nailing it. It is nailing, honestly. Listen, anyway, I've got to the end of this. It's now 13 minutes in. I know there's so much more I could have told you, but look, a bit of a teaser here. Check the links below. Come and join me on the webinars. If there's any doubt, then let me know. Come on one of the webinars, let me know. And if you think it's rubbish, just let me know. I'll give you a refund because I know you'll be amazed. Honestly, I know you'll be amazed. Just quote this video, by the way, because that's not on my website anywhere, but just quote this video. I just made that one up. What do you think of that as a guarantee, by the way? If after the first webinar you think it's a load of nonsense, then let me know. I'll give you a refund. And you also get like 2 years worth of recordings of webinars as well. So you can watch other people practicing and learning, getting their most rubbish answers out the way. That's what we've got to do, haven't we? We've got to get our most rubbish answer out the way. Don't save it for your interview. Don't save it for your interview. Anyway, listen, folks, hope you really enjoyed this and got something out of it. Please do subscribe, like, whatever you do on podcasts. What do you do on podcasts? Do you subscribe, like? Anyway, let me know in the comments. Let me know, so at least I know that people are valuing these videos and podcasts and getting something out of them. And I'll catch up with you very soon, my friends.